Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is a Monday podcast where we take a look at a special topic. And in today's show, I wanted to focus on the big astrological energies occurring throughout December 2021. We actually have 8 significant astrological energies this month, and I thought it would be beneficial to discuss them and share with you some more of the shifts and changes that are happening as we close out 2021 and perhaps finally feel that you have been released from an intense or powerful ongoing lesson, ongoing energy, something that's been in a particular holding pattern where you could feel like you've been doing a lot of deep internal work on something that lasted a lot longer than anticipated. There's been this energy that's been ongoing throughout 2021, and it feels like in December it lifts, it shifts, and we have a sense of freedom. And this comes from some very big karmic energies closing out across multiple timelines. So I'm going to go through and list all 8 significant astrological energies. But first, I want to talk about what this energy feels like and how it's been shown to me that I hope resonates with you, or at least provides a deeper understanding of what we've been moving through. Because what I'm being shown is that this particular energy that we've been working on throughout 2021 has had very, very deep roots. And it's gone very deep into the earth, but also into a very deep soul imprint that you've had across multiple lifetimes. And I'm seeing this energy, if we put it in a timeline, it goes through centuries. It goes through centuries of experiences, and maybe it's been something that's been trailing you for lifetimes. Like it's something that's been carried through, carried on. And of course, this is very personal and specific to each of us, but it's a very deep issue that actually relates to our personal value and our personal self-worth. Because what I'm seeing in this particular timeline that goes back centuries and centuries, and actually this feels like it goes back before the Dark Ages. I mean, now it feels like it's going back into the 13th century, 12th century, 11th century in this earthly timeline. These energies feel like there have been stories and very deep energetic imprints that we've been working through that were previously caged. And I literally feel it as an energetic cage, something that's been suppressed, repressed, blocked, held in, held back. And I'm also getting the image of it's been caged to the point where a part of ourselves could only flourish to a certain extent because of how this energy hasn't been able to grow or expand. And what I'm seeing is literally a cage, and then the vines and leaves growing around the cage. And I believe this is a visual depiction of energies that basically had to make do with what was. And there was this huge disconnect from the ability to create more or go beyond the cage. And it had to do with a repeating energetic imprint that kept showing up lifetime after lifetime that reinforced a particular belief system. And I feel this belief system deeply connected to soul groups. So I'm trying to be clear in describing this, and I hope this is making sense, but essentially, the energy I'm seeing is that there was a part of the soul's energy that was trapped, caged, or locked away in a smaller energy field that wasn't allowed to grow, expand, or flourish. And this energy has been held back and then also reactivated lifetime after lifetime. So you could relate this to a particular experience in your life or in your soul's experience around where you have felt limited, where you haven't been able to create exactly what you want in a particular part of your life. This is where the energy has been small, held captive, held back, and it can relate to a certain theme such as self-value, self-acceptance, self-love, self-worth. And it can even then show up through multiple areas of your life. So I guess what this feels like is a foundational belief system that was formed and rooted in a very distant timeline, meaning it doesn't feel like the energy is the same right now, but it's coexisting in another timeline. And that is the energy that we've had to go back to the roots of to heal, rework, and essentially reprogram in ourselves. And I'm getting that image of continuously reaching your hand or arm down even further. Almost like if you're trying to grab something, but you can't see it. So this could be something you do, say in a pool, in a lake, in a body of water, where you're like reaching for something. You're like, oh, this is it. Have I got it? And it's like, nope, that isn't it. I've got to go down deeper. And so it's been this energy of going down deeper and deeper to grab something that maybe you thought was in shallower waters. So it has this sense of, this isn't it. I thought this was it, because it's like you can grab something and think that's it. And then it turns out, no, there's more. And that's what this energy is feeling like, and how it's coming across is that we've been in this holding pattern of having to go deeper and deeper to grab more or to see even more that we didn't realize was there. But what we've been doing is getting to the heart of the energy, that original imprint that is still alive. And it's a part of you or something in your experience that's still been operating, still been maybe even driving the show, something that's still been highly active in your life, but at a very deep unconscious or subconscious level. And it's required layers and layers of work because it isn't something that was easily accessible. That's part of this energy. It's like, oh, we've got to go into this some more. We've got to go deeper. We need to look at this at a more intense level. And it feels like what has been energetically happening is that there have been these returns to where the energy was first created, where it was first formulated. And that's why I'm getting this timeline of energies way back 13th, 12th, 11th, 10th century. I mean, this is really fascinating to feel and tap into, because these are where many people had some very significant and formative soul experiences on this planet. And there have been things that have been traveling with us. And we've been moving through very big energies, as we know, for the past number of years, although I actually would expand that to be big energies since 2010, 2011, 2012, that have uprooted us, that have felt like maybe you've been living inside a washing machine where everything just keeps turning and spinning and there's very little downtime. There's not a lot of rest. It's like it's one thing after another. And there's been this energy that's been continually pushing us forward because of how the energies on the planet are accelerating, how they are shifting and changing at a very deep level. So what I'm feeling is that throughout this year, we've been in this very big holding pattern that's required us to go much deeper into parts of our own energies to really get to the heart or root of something and to understand that it's no longer your truth. It's no longer what you believe. And it could feel like it's part of that energy you've had to clean up, decondition, reprogram, rework. And basically, it feels like this is helping us understand that we're powerful co-creators with the universe. So what are you going to now claim and now declare as a truer, more authentic foundational energy for yourself at this level of consciousness? And man, it's been exhausting. It could feel like you've been working on a particular healing theme or particular energy or something significant in your life that's been never ending, that's had more and more layers. So as we go deeper into this, what we're reclaiming is a new truth. And what they're showing me through this visual of going deeper, and essentially it's like going into, again, a cage where the energy's been caged, and what it feels like we can do, or what you can visualize doing, is whatever you're sensing or seeing in that cage, you can transmute it beautifully. You can see it evaporating or dissolving. You can see it being transmuted with the violet flame of transmutation. You can see it being energetically released and blessed. Where there is wisdom to be obtained here, there is a higher understanding that is being offered. And this is where you could then see how this energy connected you to a specific soul group. And that's what I'm feeling too around this. It's like there are other energies that have been courted or tied to this soul experience. And these are the people who are also energetically experiencing something similar, or they're a part of that story or that lifetime. And that's where you could also feel this energy is changing over, where these connections are complete. These connections are done. You no longer need them. You no longer want them. There's something where there is no longer an energetic tie between you and other people. And it feels like it's connected to this very deep energetic imprint. And there could be some release energy happening where you're being released from connections, from people, from healing themes, from situations. This can be done peacefully. This can be done easily. It doesn't have to be a big, huge, dramatic ordeal. It can be the energy of floating away, of simply being done and moving on. And that feels like a very big part of this energy. Now, what they're also showing me is that because this goes so deep into the planet, it does connect to some other energies that are happening and unfolding throughout December. And we've talked before about this very big energy with Venus conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. And that conjunction is happening for most of December. And it's happening while Venus is slowing down to station retrograde. So there's a lot of intense energy here related to Venus, which we associate with feminine energies, with self-worth, self-love, self-acceptance, personal confidence, understanding how you are divinely and beautifully loved, and how that then is the foundation for your other relationships. So this energy is very significant for relationship turnover, relationship energies that you've understood about yourself, what you have created in your lifetime through experiences with other people. Now, this Venus energy, because it's conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, it does have, again, that intense energy to it. But with Capricorn, it's giving you a higher perspective on what you have created, built, and experienced through relationships. And if you have deeply changed and shifted some things for yourself, especially your beliefs and your truth around what it means to relate, to connect, to share, then this energy opens up powerful new relationship connections that maybe you've never experienced before, that maybe you're ready to experience in this lifetime. I feel like this energy strongly relates to reconnections as well with people who are good for your heart, people who are good for your soul growth and what is essential for you right now. Even though this energy has a toughness to it with that Pluto intensity and with the Capricorn responsibility, it feels like this is potential manifestations of new connections, new friendships, new relationships, new people in your life who have also been doing very deep, intense work, and now they're ready to come forward. Or there's like this energy of connections again. Now, what's fascinating is that where Venus and Pluto and Capricorn are, it's connected to Atlantis energies, and it's connected to Atlantis PowerPoints, Atlantis lifetimes and themes. So what we're seeing playing out, especially December into January, are some of these resurrected timelines, connections, relationships that are moving forward. It feels like there is an energy of, I'm never doing that kind of relationship again. The karma is complete. The energy within me is complete. The desire or the unconscious motivations for certain types of connections or relationships are complete. But there's things that are going to play out on the world stage in December into January that are actually deeper connections to Atlantis themes. And this is definitely related to what is crumbling and falling apart that has been happening behind the scenes and undercover for decades. So this is going to be a very fascinating month as we see the energies of power, elitism, superiority, entitlement, and what has been hidden will be more strongly revealed and emphasized. And this storyline has already been unfolding. This is a storyline that has been tightly managed, we'll say, at least in terms of the public narrative. And this is a storyline that is about freeing the earth, freeing humanity from very dark energies that have been destructive, abusive, traumatic, and these energies are clearing away. So many of them have already been cleared off planet. They've already been taken off planet. A lot of this energy was actually cleared in March and April 2020. So over a year and a half ago, that's when a lot was removed. And over the last number of months especially, there has been even more neutralizing forces, let's call it neutralizing forces, that have helped with reestablishing what is essential on this planet. So one thing to keep in mind is that there are many souls here who were part of the Atlantis energies in a negative way, who were not in integrity, who were not working with respect for humanity, who were very much associated with the fall and the destruction of a pristine, beautiful way of life. And there's a lot more here that is unfolding. And what I'm seeing is that the cosmic karma is huge. So it's not just human karma. There's cosmic karma involved, because what I'm seeing is that there are people who have used their energies in different places, meaning different planets, different timelines. They've been interdimensional travelers that have had the same energy signature. But there's something here that resembles or connects to the karmic fall of these energies, because there's no longer support for these energies on the planet. So all this to say that it will be really interesting to see what plays out with Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, and what is revealed, what is not revealed, as well as how the information is discussed, whether that's openly or not, and that there are going to be secrets revealed throughout December, January, and what is revealed, they're showing me, has energetic ties to other lifetimes, to other experiences, to these ongoing karmic patterns that have been perpetuated. So there's a lot crumbling and falling down, and there's a lot here that's being dismantled. Now, we're going to feel it energetically, and we're going to feel it even personally. Like you could feel it through tears, grief, sadness, loss. I mean, this stuff brings up what has been stuck and unhealed in the earth. And that's how big this energy is. It can also be confusing because you could feel something from another timeline or another lifetime where you're moving through an experience and all of a sudden you have a lot of feelings come up, or your energy sinks, or you're feeling like there's something moving through you, but you know it's not about what you're experiencing today at this exact moment in time. It's your energy is being activated and perhaps moving through another lifetime or timeline where that energy was blocked or frozen. So I feel like this is really opening up more of our multidimensional capabilities, how we're tapping into so many energies that can potentially feel overwhelming at times, but that so much is moving through, it's clearing out, and that there's this energy of when the lights come on and you see things, you see the truth, you see with clarity, nothing is hidden. You can't deny what you see. The lights are on. Then there's this energy of the lights going off, which I feel as a reset, where it's like this energy shuts down or it moves on because it's been removed. The lights then go off, there's a reset, and then when the lights come back on, there is renewal. There's been a refresh. There's been a sense of what do you consciously travel with? Because now we're in new terrain and there's new energies to work with. So it's this very interesting experience of when the lights come on and everything is exposed or revealed, or when there's a lot that comes up, it can be very intense, emotional, triggering. But then there is a calming energy that is part of a reset. And that's where I feel the karma is being cleared. So I'm feeling this globally, but also personally in terms of what you've been working on personally throughout this year. So there's overlays here. There's overlaps of what is coming up and what is moving out, but this is all very essential to the energy experiences on the planet and to how we shift, heal, and move humanity forward. This could be the month that you finally feel parts of your life moving forward, that you're finally feeling that there are things happening for you that maybe you thought would have happened earlier this year, in the summer, in the spring. I mean, it could feel like, why is it taken so long for something to show up or transpire? We can have, of course, our human egos and our mental expectations around what we want to happen and when we think it will happen. But what I'm seeing here in December is that there's so much energy that's shifting and changing that we're finally being released. We're finally able to see what we've been healing and why it's been so important at times to keep going deeper. So the month of December begins with Neptune stationing direct at 20 degrees of Pisces. It will not return to 20 degrees of Pisces again in your lifetime. So Neptune is moving on. We also are going to have the Sagittarius Solar Eclipse happening on December 3rd and 4th at 12 degrees of Sagittarius. And I've already done some shows for you on this topic. And it helps to understand that this is a new beginning point. This is a strong activation energy, and it's working with us to move us forward, to step in to new realities, new belief systems, and even new timelines that are in higher alignment with what you believe and what your truth is now. Then throughout the month, we're going to have Venus conjunct Pluto, and this will be happening while Venus is direct and while she stations retrograde on December 19th. So throughout most of the month, the Venus intensity is going to be very real. It's going to be something that we're feeling and that we are understanding is happening. This is transformative energies. Then around the middle of December, we have not only Venus stationing retrograde December 19th, we have Chiron stationing direct and the Gemini Full Moon at 27 degrees, which is opposite the sun conjunct the Galactic Center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. So around December 18th and 19th, there is a significant shift around what you've been healing and feeling that it's finally complete, that you have a release from it, that there's been these deeper shifts that have just taken more time than expected. And this energy is actually helping us formulate a new personal story around what you've been moving through. And the story to create or focus on is one that supports you as the protagonist, meaning you see it from an empowering position where you understand this is what I was learning. This is why certain parts of my life were necessary to experience. This is why I needed to have certain relationships or certain work experiences. This is why. And when you reformulate it from an empowering place, it shifts your viewpoint on yourself. It supports your own energy, and it also supports your self-value, your self-worth, your self-love, instead of perpetuating a lower consciousness story, instead of replaying over and over anything connected to victim consciousness, scarcity, poverty, or lack consciousness. This is a rewriting of something you've been experiencing so that you're claiming what is true for you, and you're doing it from a place of self-love and personal empowerment. And it's really important to do this because of how powerful our minds are, how much mental energy we spend and use every day. And that when we are rewriting a script, when we're seeing it from a different vantage point, it will shift your own energy and it will shift what you've been through so that you're claiming what has been good for you. You're focusing on, this is what I've learned. This is what I've healed. And by the way, congratulations, because this could be big themes across multiple timelines and lifetimes that you've been healing. That's why it's been so intense. Again, that's why it can feel like you've been in a holding pattern, because you've had to go deeper and deeper into those layers that you didn't even know were there, that you didn't even know existed. And then another big energy we have in December relates to Saturn in Aquarius, making the third and final square to Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And this happens at 11 degrees of Aquarius and 11 degrees of Taurus. Now, this occurs December 23rd, but the energy will last and be felt for the last week of this year. And it is a completion energy that started in February. So it started in February, it was strong again in June, and now in December, it's a completion as the third and final pass. In 2022, we do see Saturn and Uranus also get close to each other within 1 degree, but they don't make an exact square. So there's still going to be more that needs to be worked out in 2022. But this energy has been why we have felt this stop, wait, and sit in the discomfort. There's been discomforts this year. And again, it relates to the holding pattern where, why can't I move this forward? Why aren't I free from this? Why am I still focusing on the same issue? It's like there's been something maybe that's been holding your nose to the fire, or just requiring you to really look at something, to really understand what's been operating within you and how it needs to shift. But it needs to shift in a way that's required a lot of work, attention, commitment, responsibility, effort. And this relates to going into those deeper layers and energies of yourself. So as we see Saturn and Uranus make a third and final square, the end of December, there is something here that could finally feel like it budges. It's almost like if you've been holding tension or tightness in your energy, perhaps even in your body, in your mind, in any part of your energy field, it's going to feel like you no longer have to brace yourself or protect yourself. This could feel like there are energies that are finally relaxing and moving and shifting, and that you might not know the why or a clear answer just yet. Or maybe you do, and that's great. But this energy can feel like you've had to be in something, potentially paralyzed or stuck in it, and the tension has been unbearable at times. Now, this is especially true if you have any planets or points in the fixed signs, especially between 7 to 13 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. Between 7 and 13 degrees, this energy has been working with you personally, and it's been potentially very frustrating, very aggravating. You could have felt really annoyed, or like there's something that you really thought would shift or change and it hasn't. So this energy is going to be much more personal for you for planets or points between 7 and 13 degrees of the fixed signs, because it's been challenging you to look at where you haven't moved something forward, where there's been resistance, where you've been blocking something, where you've had a power struggle. And the universe is saying, we're not only going to loosen that up and work with it, but we're going to make it so uncomfortable that you don't ever want to come back to this same energy or this same experience or this same level of consciousness. So throughout this year, those planets or points in the fixed signs have been rocked and then held in place. And I'm getting this example of trying to pull out a very deep root where you can grab the weed and shake it, but then you have to bring in tools to really go deeper because the roots go so deep into the ground. And here you could have thought you were dealing with something easy or something shallow, but it turns out, again, it has many layers to it. It goes a lot deeper. And then you have to work it through, right? Push it back and forth, loosen it up, try to figure out the root of the energy. And then once you do that, it starts to release. It starts to come out. And it's actually really satisfying to pull something out by the roots. And you could feel like there's been a deep cleanse or detox, that you've really gotten rid of something that you didn't even know was there, or you didn't know it was holding you back. You didn't know it was implanted or in your own energy. And that's because the fixed signs, the fixed energies don't want change. They want stability and routine. They want things to be known and to stay the same. So this is an energy that has been more intense because you're working with energies that don't want to budge. And so then it feels like it creates even more resistance. So know that this has been ongoing, and it shifts the end of December, where you could finally feel that something's being pulled out and removed at the source of the roots. And then you can feel lighter. You could even feel like you've just been freed from something that you didn't even know was there. Now, another energy that's happening in December is that we're going to have the South Node at 0 degrees of Sagittarius and the North Node at 0 degrees of Gemini before they shift into the next nodal pair of Taurus and Scorpio. So throughout December, the South Node and North Node are at 0 degrees, which is a deep reset where the reprogramming and deconditioning can feel like it's paid off, that there's a sense here of, I'm now consciously choosing my truth. I'm now consciously aware of what I believe, what I want, the messages I'm giving myself, and the stories I'm creating around my experiences, around what I've been learning, around what I've been healing. So when the nodes are at 0 degrees, they've been cleared and cleansed. There is a sense of new potential here. There's also an understanding of what you've learned, what you've mastered, what you've completed. And this can help in understanding more of where you want to go next that's new and different. And this can support the new creations, the new dreams, the new potentials that you feel are calling to you now, because now there is perhaps room and space in your life to believe in that energy, to trust it, to really understand that you are powerful. You are a creator of your life. You are a co-creator with the universe, and that there's a lot of potentials here that maybe you just weren't aware of. But now you see them or feel them and you're tapping into them. So when we have this strong energy point of the nodes of fate at 0, then there are beginnings underway, beginning points emerging. The nodes always move in reverse, so they will enter 29 degrees of Taurus and then 29 degrees of Scorpio. There are 2 ways that the nodes are measured in terms of their speed and progress. There's the true node and the mean node, and I have a video on YouTube that explains the differences. But essentially, when the nodes of fate change energies and change into different astrological signs, it shifts what we focus on. It changes our priorities, how we're growing, how we're learning, and it also opens us up to these new potentials for us to explore. I will be doing some videos for you on YouTube discussing the nodes. I'll have a video for you on the South Node in Scorpio, and then I'm going to do 2 videos for you on the North Node in Taurus. So those will be coming out over the next few weeks in December, but please know that this is a shift in where we go from here. And it also is part of this energy in December of feeling released, feeling that you're complete with something that was very big and a key part of your learning experience. And it could be easier to let go this month as well. The end of December brings about Mercury entering his shadow in the late degrees of Capricorn. And when Mercury enters the shadow, he will be conjunct Venus and Pluto in Capricorn, and that is when more secrets will be revealed, information will be disclosed, there will be more information that comes forward that could be shocking and potentially very intense. Now, whenever Mercury is involved, Mercury, the messenger, is about communications, about information and details. And in Capricorn, it's the energy of the Capricorn areas of our lives. And there's things that could be coming out that are publicly disclosed that have been hidden. And what it feels like is that Mercury will be speaking for Venus, meaning Mercury is going to be saying things that the Venus energy has been moving through and feeling. So this could be a very interesting time for big announcements, for news breaking, for things coming out and coming forward that Venus has been working on throughout all of December. So keep in mind that a lot about December is bringing up what's been hidden and what hasn't come forward yet. But now both Venus and Mercury are going to be exposing and revealing truths, different versions of truth, meaning there could be multiple sides of a story, as always. And there's also going to be this energy of what to do next, what is the next best step. How do we move forward? What are good choices? Where are we responsible? And also a sense of maintaining maturity throughout the month. Now, I say that because spiritual maturity is where we know we can handle things. There will always be a solution or next steps. It might not be easy, it might not be simple, but spiritual maturity is maintaining your equilibrium and maintaining your sense of power and choices around what to do next, or what is essential, what is needed, where our responsibilities lay. So there's energy here that is going to ask us to remain strong and confident, to ensure you are perhaps seeing things clearly, that maybe you're feeling a sense of higher perspective around what is shifting on the planet, and to know that ultimately we are reclaiming our own energy and power that reasserts what is best for humanity now. It feels like so much of this theme is about reclaiming your own self-leadership, your own ability to be the master of your own ship and to understand that you're more powerful than maybe you've ever been taught or told. And there's something here where it's happening with millions of people. I mean, I feel this energy of humanity rising up and saying, I'm in control of my life. I'm the leader of my life and of my experiences, and that I'm not looking to someone in a particular position or someone who has a certain role to be that leader for me. So there's this huge changeover in what it means to be in control of your life, in your own leadership abilities, and to truly embrace that energy in yourself. And this is really important because there are parts of humanity that are being built from the ground up where the vertical hierarchy systems are just falling apart because they've been abused. They haven't been respectful of humanity. There's things that are just no longer able to be here on the planet. So there's this crumbling and this falling that's happening. And then at the same time, there are those of higher consciousness rising up, those who have done a lot of healing work, those who are aware of themselves more than ever. These are the people that are rising up. And this is where it feels like there's now more of a horizontal or open power structures emerging. And I mean that as it's no longer one person in charge of many. It's one person in charge of themselves who allows other people to be in charge of themselves. There's this bigger shift happening that actually feels like it will take years to unfold. It's not a quick fix. It doesn't happen overnight, but this is part of how the energy on the planet is shifting permanently. So if we can maintain a higher perspective and viewpoint, that will help with staying above the fray, that will help with understanding the bigger picture, that will also help with navigating some of these bigger waves as well. So essentially, this is a very big month, a very powerful time at a personal and collective level. And it's also important to look at what is calling to you next. Moving forward, moving on, trusting where your energy wants to go, really believing in what's possible for your life next, and also perhaps really finally feeling that you're free from a particular dynamic or a particular energy that was keeping you stuck or in something that you were meant to understand at a much deeper level. Everything can have value. Everything can offer us wisdom if we allow it to. So if you look back on this year and you thought, wow, I really thought things would play out differently. I really thought I would have moved through something or been complete with it or started something else by now, be very gentle on yourself. Be very kind to yourself. There's things that we can only do so fast. We can only move through them as best as we can. And that's all we can expect of ourselves. So give yourself that reminder of what you've done well, what you've handled well, what was exceptionally hard or challenging that you still were able to manage or navigate through. It's very important to give ourselves these messages and to acknowledge what we've been through and how we've grown through it. And if you want a heads up on the big energies of 2022, please check out that Soul Growth Astrology program that I have for you. And you can still sign up for only $25 if you use coupon code 2022. It goes through the full astrology of the year, including the 4 Mercury retrogrades and the Mars in Gemini retrograde. And when you log into the program, I tell you right away the 3 energy points in your chart to be aware of in 2022, because there are 3 important parts of your chart that are going to experience some of the biggest energies of the year. So please check that out. It's designed for you to follow along with your astrology chart so you can really learn more about your own energy as well as what is showing up for you as we move ahead this decade. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time, energy, and presence. You can find out more about me over at mollymccord.online. In the meantime, I'll be back every Monday and Wednesday for another podcast episode. And please check out my YouTube channel where I now offer you a new video every Friday covering a particular astrological topic. So I wish you a beautiful December 2021. I hope that you feel a shift and a change in your energy. And of course, I wish you the very best as we continue forward together. I'll see you back here soon.